Economist has launched its annual year-end outlook, The World Ahead 2025. Among its top 10 themes, tariffs, inflation and AI, as well as a focus on one man in particular. Let's get to Tom Standage, editor of The World Ahead 2025, The Economist. Tom, thank you very much for bringing this to us again. We always typically start with what you got right, what you got wrong in 2024. Now, I did use an AI tool, Perplexity helped me out this morning. We've got you as a counterweight here. They said what you got wrong was the resilience of the US economy, understanding the impact of some elections, particularly the US, and also the rise of green powers, which they say didn't necessarily happen. What do you say? What did you get right? What did you get wrong?
That's a pretty good. I think the clean energy boom is going pretty well. So if you look at those famous forecasts from the IEA, which are always wrong, they're still always wrong, and forecasts on the adoption of solar panels and batteries are always having to be revised upwards. So I disagree on that one. I think the others are right. I mean, we thought when we came out a year ago that Donald Trump had a 1 in 3 chance of winning, so we were too pessimistic about his chances of winning, and his win has been much more decisive than we and lots of other people expected. I think on the other elections, we did okay. Obviously, 2024 has been the biggest year in history for elections. One of the things that we flagged, and I think aside from the US, we had a pretty good track record on those. Yes, I totally agree on the resilience of the US economy. We thought that growth would be tepid, and in fact, it's been extremely good. And so the sort of surprising strength of the US economy and the surprising weakness of the Chinese economy have been the big stories there.
Tom, I was looking at some of your coverage on Trump. I think this is the big trade for markets. What exactly does it mean? And some of your commentary is fascinating here. One line in particular, that his promise to slash the federal budget by $2 trillion is absurd. But you go on to say that America needs government reform, and that could be the killer here in terms of bringing more AI adoption, technology adoption. Just talk us through that thematic.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, it's with Donald Trump, it's always very hard to know whether he means what he says. And also, when he's made such a long list of promises, he can't possibly do all of them. Even though he's got the trifecta, he's going to have to decide what his priorities are when legislating. So, with the tariffs, with the the plan to deport people, with the deregulation, where is he actually going to focus, and how far is he going to go? I think the case you can make for the deregulation, and the case that article that you're referring to there is making, is that there are areas where America could do with a dose of deregulation, and clearly there are businesses that are responding to that and are excited about that. But the sorts of numbers that are being tossed around for the sizes of the cuts are just ridiculous. I mean, there just isn't that much budget to cut unless you're prepared to go into the military budget, which I'd be very surprised if Donald Trump is willing to do. And I think essentially there's a broader problem here of the numbers not adding up. I mean, we heard during the campaign of the possibility of abolishing income tax, that somehow tariffs are a magic money tree that allow America to help itself to China's savings. I mean, none of this is true, and no one's really talking about the deficit either, and the fact that America is spending more on debt servicing costs than it is on the military this year.
Tom, I actually like the one about old people, not that I'm getting older or anything, or seniority and the wisdom we can get, but actually, whether you're in Congress, whether you're a dictator, all our leaders are getting older as well. That's problematic for the young, according to your article.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. So we looked at that. Because there's been so much focus on age this year with Joe Biden's age and with Donald Trump's age. We looked at what's happening generally with world leaders. World leaders are getting older, but the whole world is getting older. And in fact, the gap between world leaders and the age of the populations has gone down a bit. But the other thing is, of course, that when you're an autocratic leader and you want to stay in power until you die, if you're somebody like Robert Mugabe or Vladimir Putin, then the fact that people are living longer means that, and you've got so many autocrats around, means that the average age of world leaders is going up. The really interesting number going in the other direction is the average age of leaders in democracies, which has actually gone down a bit in the last 50 years. So there didn't used to be any democratically elected leaders under the age of 45. We now have 3 of them. And this is in the countries that we classify as full democracies at the Economist. So yeah, we're looking at these trends, and America is the outlier there. Obviously, a big democracy, but America has the oldest set of legislators in the free world. And that's a sort of quirk of the American system, which it rewards incumbency, it rewards seniority, and most races in America are not competitive, so you can essentially keep your seat for decades.
Yeah,
That's
I like
a very peculiarly American problem.
Tom, I've got